move that should surprise nobody, shortly after Kelly Klein files her lawsuit against Ring of Honor, Adam Birch, aka Joey Mercury, also files a lawsuit against Ring of Honor. The main contention of his lawsuit is that he was forced to resign due to the company's lack of concern for talent and his increased workload without a commensurate increase in pay, and also that he was misclassified as an independent contractor rather than an employee. That latter part, the independent contractor employee part, is a part of Kelly Klein's lawsuit as well. So we see what they're trying to do here. Their lawyer, if I remember correctly, is actually Stephen P. New, the kayfabe lawyer that Jim Cornette is always talking about. So it seems like, he's finally going to try to backdoor this whole wrestling independent contractor employee thing. Can't go up against WWE, but you'll try to take it out on Ring of Honor. Okay. All you're going to do is set the standards, though. That's all you're really going to do. Is the moment, it's Maryland. But let's go through pieces of his lawsuit and see what's interesting in here. Let's see. Quote, during the time that Birch was performing services for Ring of Honor and Sinclair, Birch devoted himself to improving the working conditions and salaries of the talent, wrestling performers. Birch expressed concerns to Ring of Honor and Sinclair regarding the lack of safety protocols and available medical supervision during the matches. Birch attempted to secure talent for Ring of Honor and Sinclair and attempted to obtain reasonable compensation for talent. Birch endeavored to initial effective communication between Ring of Honor and Sinclair and the talent. Birch's efforts were disregarded by Ring of Honor and Sinclair, and this disregard produced an unsafe working environment and poor overall working conditions and morale. During the time Birch was performing services for Ring of Honor and Sinclair, he was paid substantially less than other individuals performing these same services for similar companies. Due to the complete lack of concern for the talent and the increasing responsibilities without a commensurate increase in compensation, Birch was forced to leave Ring of Honor and Sinclair on October 25th, 2019. All right, so here's one of the things I want to notice. He says he was paid substantially less than other individuals performing these same services for other companies. So what? How can you sue somebody because they don't pay the exact same as another company for the same job? That's dumb. Are all jobs supposed to pay the same thing? That doesn't make sense. It's obviously they're trying to force Ring of Honor into the same domain as WWE, right? They're trying to say, well, Ring of Honor is under Sinclair. It's a division of Sinclair Broadcasting, right? But Ring of Honor has its own budgets and all that type of stuff. What they want to do is try to force Sinclair to expand Ring of Honor to the point where it's much like WWE. That its costs would be like WWE's costs. But it can't have WWE's costs without WWE's revenues. Right? The reason WWE can pay producers and agents and these types of people more is because they make more. Ring of Honor is not going to pay you the same thing WWE was going to pay you. They can't. This company does not make that kind of money. So it doesn't make sense. Now, I'm with him on the idea of securing safe working conditions. They're willing to argue that. But this piece right here where he says he was paid substantially less than individuals performing these same services for similar companies, all these companies have different revenues, different costs, and that's nonsense. Of course you were. Nobody's going to be paid the same thing, depending on what company you work at. That's going to be different. So that doesn't make any sense. Then he says he was forced to leave Ring of Honor due to a complete lack of concern for the talent. No, when you are forced to leave, it's because somebody else kicked you out. If you left because of their lack of talent, their lack of concern for the talent, that is not a force. That is you making a choice. You chose to leave due to their lack of support for the talent. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. This says this is the Maryland public policy on the employee versus independent contractor. Let's see. Maryland has been to narrowly define independent contractor and to protect employee access to unemployment insurance, working compensation, yada yada yada. The Workplace Fraud Act makes it a violation to fail to properly classify workers as independent contractors and employees, and imposes penalty on those employers who knowingly misclassify their workers. The recovery of benefits and penalties of fraud, which became effective 2016, imposes significant penalties, yada yada yada. Okay, but all right, it says disagreement. The agreement, basically his contract, clearly misclassifies Birch as an independent contractor when he was, in fact, an employee. Sinclair and Ring of Honor retained the right to control every aspect of Birch's performance of services and overrode his independent judgment regarding the best manner in which to perform his services. Sinclair and Ring of Honor also retained the right to prohibit Birch from performing services for other entities without consent. Sinclair and Ring of Honor retained the right to terminate Birch's performance of services for Sinclair and Ring of Honor, but denied Birch the right to terminate his provision of services during the first 6 months of his agreement. Sinclair and Ring of Honor retained the right to terminate the relationship for cause and impose a restrictive covenant. The intent and import of the agreement was to make Birch an employee while classifying him as an independent contractor. So there's this bit is interesting. So it says that Ring of Honor. This damn screen keep jumping. I'm sorry, guys, but Sinclair, Ring of Honor retained the right to control every aspect of Birch's performance of services and overrode his independent judgment regarding the best manner in which to perform his services. Yes, when you get paid to do a job, you get paid to do the job that they want you to do. You know, if they want you to do a job in X way, that's what they're paying you for. You know, I know what people seem to think, like, but it's like if you hire a painter to paint your room, he can't just paint it whatever color he wants, right? It's like you hire somebody like, hey, I want you to come paint my bedroom. And he just started coming over with pink and yellow. And you're like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm an independent contractor. I can paint whatever colors I want. And it's like, well, no. I don't want pink and yellow on my wall. Hey, I'm an independent contractor. Unless you want to play my health insurance, you're going to have pink and white and yellow walls. It's like, that's nonsense. I'm paying you to do a service. I want you to do it a specific way. This is the problem with government. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Right? Sure, you're being paid to do a job. They're going to tell you the job that they want you to do. And they're going to tell you how they want you to perform the job. Duh. Just like McDonald's is going to tell you, how they want you to perform the job. Just like if you work in NASA or you work anywhere, they're going to tell you how they want you to perform the job. Now you may say, well, McDonald's, they're employees. And I'll say, just like the guy, if you hire a goddamn plumber and he needs to replace your pipes, he's not going to make the decision. He might ask you, all right, do you want plastic PVC pipes or do you want, ye old metal pipes? Different costs, different functions, depending on where you want to go. He can't just make that decision as if it's his house, right? So, and that guy is not going to be an employee. He's going to do what you paid him to do in this instance. So these people with this sense of entitlement that they think they should be able to do whatever they want while being paid, it's like, come on, bro. That makes no sense. They said he overrode his independent judgment. Yes. I'm pretty sure they actually took it into account, but they don't have to. I mean, you could just quit. What the fuck? It says they retain the right to prohibit Birch from performing services for other entities without consent. That is the exclusivity clause in these contracts, which if he knew that and he agreed to it, why would you agree to it? How are you misclassified if they told you were going to be an independent contractor? As a wrestler, you usually only work as an independent contractor. They told you can only work for us without consent. You said okay, and then you sign the contract. It wasn't like they unless they retroactively put it into the contract without you signing it. You agreed to this. You agreed to the terms. And this is another government problem. Treating people like children. These are adult individuals who read these contracts and said, I like the terms of this contract, therefore I sign it. And then the government gets to come around and say, well, we're going to change the nature of your contract. It's like, how are you going to... That makes no sense. And it's always this thing where, two people agree to something. And then the government is only supposed to say, did you change this contract after he signed it? No. Did you coerce or force him to sign this contract? No. If he didn't like the terms, he could have walked away. At that point, we should be dropping this whole idea. But now the government wants to get involved and say, oh, well, my power dynamics. It's like, what the fuck? He could have had a lawyer read this. He chose not to. We have to stop treating people like children. Let's see. Let's continue on here. What is there? What else do we got here? It says Joey Mercury seeks royalties due, and his final claim happens to be abusive discharge. It makes the following statements that further allege that ROH has failed to conduct matches in safe manner. It says a nexus exists between Birch's actions in attempting to ensure the safety of the talent and obtaining reasonable compensation for talent, and Birch's forced resignation from Ring of Honor and Sinclair. Birch repeatedly expressed opinions to Sinclair and Ring of Honor, others regarding the actions of Sinclair and Ring of Honor. These opinions that were expressed regarded the safety of professional wrestlers and the inadequacy of the pay for the talent. Sinclair and Ring of Honor were the promoters of the wrestling matches in which Birch expressed concern regarding the safety of the wrestlers. There's a law that requires that the promoter shall be responsible for the conducting wrestling contests in a safe, peaceable, and orderly fashion. See, Sinclair Ring of Honor failed to conduct the wrestling matches in a safe manner. Wrestlers suffered injuries from wrestling that were not recognized and not addressed. Sinclair Ring of Honor permitted unsafe wrestling practices to occur and failed to respond to Birch's complaints regarding the unsafe practices. This is very vague. As a direct and approximate result of Birch's complaints and actions regarding the lack of safety protocols in Sinclair and Ring of Honor wrestling events, and Sinclair and Ring of Honor complete lack of concern for the safety of the wrestlers, Birch was forced to resign. Birch is entitled to compensatory damages directly resulting from the termination of the relationship with Sinclair and Ring of Honor. All right, so this is what it is. Obviously, these people obviously are just, they out for money, right? They out looking for a settlement, and it came out not too long after I came out with my Kelly Klein video that Stephen P. New, the lawyer that Jim Cornette always has on, talking about unions and misclassifications and all that shit, that he's the guy behind the Kelly Klein lawsuit. No doubt probably behind this one too. He has an agenda other than, Ring of Honor has unsafe working practices. This is completely got nothing to do with that, right? Because that would have been, we'll see if that stuff gets tossed out or whether it sticks or not. This is really the thing that they're trying to get, is the independent contractor thing. That's really the crux of this whole ordeal. Is they're trying to get wrestlers, at least in the state of Maryland, recognized as independent contractors. So the biggest city in Maryland is Baltimore. So if, let's say they win, right, and you'll probably see Ring of Honor pull out of Maryland, probably see WWE avoid Maryland, and that would be the end of that. I mean, well, unless is this federal? This might be federal. In fact, let me look, because it might be federal. Actually, why would they use state law if it's federal, though? Yeah, I think this is state. Yeah, this is state law, right? Yeah, I think this is state law. I think that they tried to argue that the Kelly Klein lawsuit was federal. I think that's the one that's supposed to be federal because it involves this sex-based discrimination and all that stuff. So you probably got all of those legal beagles in these cases or whatever. Yeah, so here it is. Stephen P. New issued a statement to WrestleZone's Dominic D'Angelo regarding the lawsuit that noted making an important aspect that hasn't been reported, making the claim that Klein should not be considered an employee but an independent contractor. The first claim in the Klein lawsuit proposes the declaratory judgment finding the arbitration agreement void or voidable. Under this claim makes the case for the court to consider Klein as an employee under the state of Maryland when factoring in their strong public policy on the matter and therein rendering ROH's contract agreement between the company and Klein void. Okay. All right. So they're trying to void the contracts. I don't know how that's going to benefit them considering she doesn't work there. So, I mean, it's like your contract is null and void. It's like, okay, cool. Now, you already don't work there. So I guess you get, so what do you want? But whatever. This is weird. This is all very, very weird. And it all just smacks of people being vindictive and litigious and looking for money. So I mean, it is what it is. They're trying to play up. Well, the goal, I'm guessing, is that if it gets shot down, they get to appeal, and then they could probably appeal to the federal courts, in hoping of trying to get somebody on the federal level to recognize wrestlers as independent, as employees rather than independent contractors. I'm telling you, they're going to wake up the sleeping beast. They're going to wake up McDevitt and all them motherfuckers in Stanford, and it's going to be ugly. Because if they can get Ring of Honor, then Impact and the rest of them that are located in other places are probably just be next. These types of things always start a domino effect. But usually when people sue WWE for this whole independent contractor stuff, it gets thrown out. It has been numerous times where it's been thrown out. And it's, you know, I've gone through some of those statements here, you know, as far as legal ramifications. They've seen a lot of that stuff get thrown out. But this is what they're attempting to do. They're trying to backdoor bust the independent contractor employee thing. And they're trying to use the whole, Ring of Honor doesn't care about your safety. It's like, well, we'll see about that. But this is what they really want to do. This is why they talking about it so much. But we'll get there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah.